Today's topic is whether a seller should have a pre-listing inspection. So, in a spoiler alert, in my opinion, the answer is yes. But let's start at the beginning. What is a pre-listing inspection? A pre-listing inspection is when a homeowner who is about to list a home for sale has a home inspection done. It should be the same inspection that a buyer would have done. So home inspectors have a list of things that they are required to look at, certain things they are expected to comment on, other things that are outside of the scope of a home inspection. But in theory, a home inspection performed on behalf of a seller versus on behalf of a buyer should look exactly the same. So that's what a pre-listing inspection is. It's just a home inspection performed by the seller prior to listing the house. So what's the purpose? Why do it? Well, the purpose is to discover things that, if a buyer does an inspection, are going to be discovered. And the reason as seller would want to know that is that they need to be prepared to address them. So let's say you're listing your house and you do a home inspection and there are a bunch of issues with the property. You have a few choices. You can adjust the price to reflect those problems. You can repair them or repair some of them. You can potentially offer a credit to a buyer, which is similar to lowering the price, but not identical, but that's a video for another day. So the idea is that you are going to reduce the number of surprises by having a pre-listing inspection. If you have a pre-listing inspection, everything is disclosed. So that's one of the first questions I get is, well, if I have this pre-listing inspection, what do I do with the inspection report? You have a couple of options. One of them is to amend the seller's disclosure to reflect anything that the inspector has found. And if there are issues that come up, you are required to disclose them. So one way is to actually amend the seller's disclosure, that specific document. A somewhat simpler and I think better option is to add the home inspection report as an attachment to the disclosure. So you're not changing the words, all of the information right from the inspector is there with all of the pictures, and you make that available to all of the buyers and you have them initial that as part of the seller's disclosure when they're making an offer. That reflects the fact that they have seen all of the items, everything that came up on the inspection, so they can't come back later and say, oh, I didn't know about this, I want to reduce the price, or I want a credit, or I want you to fix this, Mr. Seller. So that's really the benefit to the seller to doing the pre-listing inspection. It pretty much eliminates, a buyer can always ask for something, but let's say it greatly reduces the likelihood that a buyer is going to come back and ask for credits or repairs. So whatever price you get on an offer is much more likely to be the price that you end up with at closing if you've done a pre-listing inspection. Now, some people might say, well, what if you're in a market that's really competitive, like my market outside Philadelphia is, where a lot of people are winning bids because they are crafting offers that are so appealing to the seller that maybe they don't even have an inspection. In that event, I'll have sellers who are talking about listings saying, aren't I just cutting off my own nose to spite my face? If I don't do the inspection, yes, I still have to disclose anything I do know about. But if I have this pre-listing inspection done, now I'm going to have to disclose all of these other little things. This door doesn't shut all the way exactly, or there's this little other thing. And then it looks like there's this laundry list of problems with my house. Why would I want to find those things out? Because then I have to disclose them, because many buyers aren't even going to be doing an inspection. That is not illogical. And there are some sellers who choose to go that route, and it's not the wrong choice. But just think about all of the legal, the suing and everything that goes on. We are an extremely litigious society. Think about what happens if a buyer who does not do an inspection buys your home, settles on it, and then finds some problems. They may come back and accuse you of hiding things or not disclosing things. And then you may get pulled into a lawsuit. Now, the reality is The onus is on the buyer in that scenario to prove, which is very difficult, that you were aware of some kind of problem and did not disclose it. But even just being brought into a lawsuit is extremely unpleasant. So I just think that it makes more sense to do a pre-listing inspection so you as a seller understand what the issues are that may come up, again, whether they come up during a buyer's inspection or they're going to come up later. And you don't have to fix everything. What a lot of people do is leave the inspection report available and just notate it as far as what is being repaired and what isn't, because you don't have to convey a perfect house as though it was just built from scratch. It's okay if there are a few little items that aren't perfect, but you will want to address the bigger ones. So I think that you should at least consider doing a pre-listing inspection if you are about to list your home for sale.